Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So Filip Hrgovic and Frank Sanchez have been unable to come to terms for their IBF heavyweight final eliminator, and therefore, as is standard procedure in these situations, a purse bid has been ordered. And that will take place next week on May 15th. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you know how purse bids work in boxing, but for the benefit of those who don't, I'll briefly explain. When a sanctioning body, in this case the IBF, orders a final eliminator between a pair of its contenders, they're given 30 days to negotiate a deal. If they can't come to a deal, then the sanctioning body will order a purse bid, and a purse bid is basically just an auction. But rather than auctioning off a car or an antique, they're auctioning off a fight or the rights to stage a fight. So different promoters, it doesn't have to be the promoter of either of the fighters. Anybody can enter a purse bid, any promotional company. And they all try to outbid each other, as I say, for the rights to stage the fight. Although, wherever the winning bid is, it will typically cost a lot more than that to put the fight on, because in most cases, not in all cases, but in most cases, the bid itself will just be used to pay the fighters. Hence, it's called a purse bid, because that'll be the fighters' purses combined, whatever the winning bid is. Hrgovic is promoted by Frank Warren. Frank Sanchez, last I checked, was promoted by PBC. If either party decides to withdraw from the purse bid, and they can do that, they'll be dropped out of the IBF top 10 and won't be eligible to participate in any IBF-sanctioned fight for at least 6 months. So unless either guy has got a better alternative fight, as far as I can tell, it will be in their best interests to go ahead with a purse bid. If this fight goes ahead, I think it's very interesting. Both guys suffered their first pro defeats last year, Hrgovic to Daniel Dubois and Frank Sanchez to Ajit Kabayel, and both have since come back with one win earlier this year. Filip Hrgovic outpointed Joe Joyce last month, and Frank Sanchez stopped some obscure Mexican journeyman in Mexico back in February. Now, as I understand it, Frank Sanchez has had knee surgery sometime in the past few months, and this speaks to the very clear injury he was carrying in the Ajit Kabayel fight. I don't want to take anything away from Kabayel. He's on a great run. He's definitely emerged as a dark horse in the heavyweight division. But I cannot ignore what was obvious in that Frank Sanchez fight, which is that Sanchez was physically compromised. And the reason I bring that up is because Frank Sanchez is primarily a mover. If he was a guy that was an inside slugger that didn't really rely on his legs, then I wouldn't feel the need to bring up this point as much as I do. The fact that he's a mover and he relies on his legs so heavily means that I cannot judge Frank Sanchez purely on that performance against Kabayel, because his best asset, his legs, were taken away from him. He was forced to basically fight off the ropes as a sitting duck, and Kabayel was able to have his way. That's not to say that Frank Sanchez would have necessarily beaten Kabayel with two healthy legs. We don't know. But Sanchez certainly would have done a lot better, win or lose, with two healthy legs, in my opinion anyway. If those legs or knees, perhaps it's one knee, is as good as new now after surgery, then Filip Hrgovic has got his hands full in this fight. Efe Ajagba had a draw with Martin Bakole the other day. Most people, including myself, are of the view that he deserved to win. I scored that fight 7 rounds to 3 in favor of Ajagba. Frank Sanchez beat Efe Ajagba, dropped him back in 2021. He won big on the scorecards. That's the kind of thing that Frank Sanchez can do when he's healthy. He's able to move very well. He's got quick hands and good power. He's explosive. He's not the most active fighter in the world. He doesn't throw a million punches, but when he does throw, they tend to be meaningful shots. And again, when his legs are healthy, he's very good at slipping and countering. So again, going back to the Ajagba fight, when Ajagba, who is 6'6" tall, the same height as Hrgovic, was bearing down on Frank Sanchez, trying to walk him down and hit him with the big right hand, Sanchez, who was moving around the perimeter of the ring, would slip Ajagba's shots and then come back with extremely fast, explosive counters that stunned Ajagba on several occasions. One of those occasions leading to a knockdown. Sanchez will surely be looking to do something similar against Filip Hrgovic if this fight takes place. Hrgovic, however, tends to throw a lot more punches than Efe Ajagba, typically. And he has a very good chin, which is part of the reason that he throws so many shots, because he's not afraid of what's coming back. He trusts his punch resistance. So he might be more difficult to deter from coming forward and unloading than Efe Ajagba was against Frank Sanchez. Like I say, it's an interesting fight. I hope it takes place. We'll find out next week on the 15th when they have the purse bid. I would expect, if the purse bid goes ahead, Frank Warren to win it. I say that because Frank Sanchez isn't exactly a ticket seller. So I'm not sure PBC would be willing to put up that much money for it. Boxing is a business at the end of the day. Promoters want to make a profit. With that being said, Hrgovic ain't much of a ticket seller either, at least not in the Anglo sphere. Would Frank Warren be willing to put the fight on in Hrgovic's native Croatia? Maybe. That'd be interesting. I'm sure they could sell tickets there, no problem, but at what price? Croatia is, needless to say, nowhere near as economically powerful as somewhere like Britain, for example. So you're not going to make anywhere near the same amount of money from, let's say, 20,000 tickets in Croatia as you would make from 20,000 tickets in the UK. Not that Filip Hrgovic versus Frank Sanchez could shift 20,000 tickets in the UK, you understand. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that since Hrgovic versus Sanchez, at least in my estimation, is not going to sell in the UK at all, Frank Warren might be basically forced to look elsewhere, Croatia, etc., and do the maths and see how financially viable it is. Another alternative, obviously, would be to talk to Turki Al-Sheikh and see if they can put the fight on a Ring Magazine or Riyadh season card. Perhaps the Canelo Crawford undercard in September. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section below. Frank Sanchez versus Filip Hrgovic. What do you think? Will the purse bid take place? If so, who do you think will win it? And who do you favor to win the fight? Leave me your comments. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high-quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.